Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something that's honestly going to make you look over your shoulder. We're taking a fascinating analytical approach to fear. We aren't just swapping scary campfire stories here. We are doing a structured breakdown of 5 real-world, first-hand case studies in human survival and situational awareness. We're literally going to analyze the anatomy of a nightmare, looking closely at how ordinary people react when the mundane suddenly flips into a fight for survival.
Okay, let's dive into our table of nightmares. We've got 5 distinct case files on the agenda today. The unseen home invader, the stalker outside, the vengeful classmate, the beach house trap, and finally, the unexplained missing hours. Let's see exactly how fast that everyday feeling of security can just instantly shatter.
All right, starting us off, case file number 1, the unseen home invader. Picture this, you're in 2nd or 3rd grade. There's a massive thunderstorm outside, and you're home alone because your parents got stranded at an upscale fundraiser. Talk about a baseline for intense childhood vulnerability, right? So this kid falls asleep on the living room couch, but wakes up at least 3 hours later, absolutely freezing, like to the bone cold. He goes right to his mom's strict security checklist to make sure he's safe. Doors and windows locked? Check. Leave a light on? Check. Close the blinds? Check. The entire perimeter was perfectly sealed up tight, but the house was still terrifyingly cold. Something was definitely off. And here comes the truly terrifying climax. He heads back to his room and boom, a flash of lightning reveals his wooden closet door, which was definitely closed earlier, is now cracked open. He silently bolts downstairs and hides under the dining room table. Then he hears it, these chaotic, pinballing footsteps coming down the stairs. From right under his hiding spot, he watches these grotesque, muddy, yellow-tinted legs covered in fresh cuts stumble right into view. The intruder drops a heavy wrench onto the floor with a massive thud, and then he just stands there, completely motionless in what feels like this deadly standoff. Eventually, the guy just turns and walks right out the front door. I mean, what an absolute masterclass from this kid in staying perfectly silent under extreme pressure. Moving right along to case file number 2, the stalker outside. Okay, so we're shifting from a single chaotic night to a deeply unsettling 4-year psychological ordeal. This one really blurs the line between the subconscious and harsh physical reality, and the progression is incredibly disturbing. It starts in year 1. A child starts having these out-of-body dreams, floating above his bed. He's seeing digital clocks counting in reverse, unknown childhood drawings of a blue-roofed house, and a lost toy train. But the focal point is always the same, a gray-haired man aggressively clawing at his bedroom window. Fast forward to year 4, and this culminates in the child actually waking up and seeing real physical movement right outside his glass. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the horrifying crossover between those dream details and the waking world. In the dreams, the child noted the gray-haired man had a very distinct scar on his left temple. When he finally shared that specific detail, his parents were absolutely terrified. It perfectly matched Uncle Brian, an old college friend with a car crash scar who had a severe falling out with the father and was strictly forbidden from coming anywhere near the child. And in year 4, after the kids saw that movement outside, the father went out there and found actual, faint physical footprints right under the bedroom window. So it really leaves us with this huge question. Was the child's brain somehow subconsciously picking up on audio or visual cues, trying to warn him of a genuine physical threat over those 4 years? Or was this just the most horrifying coincidence ever? Objectively, we don't have the answer. But you know what the deeply unsettling coda to this file is? Despite finding those physical footprints, the parents seemingly never actually called the police. All right, on to case file number 3, the vengeful classmate. This case highlights just how vulnerable a typical suburban basement can be and the terrifying unpredictability of a disturbed peer on the very last day of 8th grade. It all kicks off with this bizarre yearbook signature, HAGS, I'll be seeing you again. HAGS, have a great summer. It was written by Samuel Robinson III, a boy the narrator had literally never spoken a single word to in his entire life. At the time, it just seemed like a harmless, if slightly weird, middle school prank. That is, until a basement sleepover with his friends Kevin, David, and Kieran later that very night. It's almost 2 a.m., and out of nowhere there's this sharp, rhythmic knock on the basement storm door. Now, instead of staying quiet, Kieran loudly asks who's there. He instantly broadcasted their location, which is a critical mistake in any survival situation. There's a pause, and then this chillingly cheerful, high-pitched teenager's voice replies, "Come around to the back door."
The boys creep upstairs, and staring right through the back door glass is none other than Samuel. The narrator carefully cracks a window to speak with him, and the situation rapidly deteriorates. Sam calmly claims he watched from afar, but the second one of the friends tells him to leave, he instantly turns enraged, snarling and violently banging on the glass. It causes such a commotion that the parents wake up and rush downstairs, making Sam take off. But guys, the most horrifying detail drops the next morning. The school reveals Sam was actually expelled weeks prior. He shouldn't have even been on campus to sign that yearbook. And more importantly, nobody has any idea how he actually knew the narrator's home address. He and his family simply vanished after that night.
Next up, case file number 4, the beach house trap.
And this brilliantly illustrates how rapidly a situation can escalate when your social guard is down. This elevates the danger to a highly sophisticated, adult-oriented crime. We've got 22-year-old narrator staying with 3 friends at an ultra-modern, secluded beach house. They meet 3 seemingly normal guys on the beach. By 2 a.m., our narrator wisely trusts her boundaries and goes to sleep, while her friends stay out. Then, at 3 a.m., her phone rings. It's a FaceTime from Lindsay, and she is absolutely screaming that their other 2 friends, Thea and Sabrina, were just thrown into an SUV. Our narrator grabs Lindsay's car keys, engages in this insane adrenaline-fueled chase down the coastal road, and tails them just long enough for the police to intercept the vehicle and save the bound girls from the trunk. The massive takeaway here is the total illusion of safety. Those men were caught, charged with multiple crimes, and given maximum sentences. But their entire lure was built on a complete lie. They didn't even own that spectacular beach house they brought the girls back to. They were literally just squatting in some vacationing couple's home. The false sense of security created by that illusion of wealth and status was the ultimate trap.
All right, bringing us to our final one, case file number 5, the unexplained missing hours.
This details a July 4th weekend on the Jersey Shore with friends Jimmy and Ryan, which devolves into an incomprehensible, logic-defying blackout. The narrator and Ryan accepted drinks from 2 apparently wealthy women, Gianna and Marcella, and went back to their opulent, minimalist beach house. The physical descent was terrifying. The narrator objectively recalls his limbs feeling like melting cardboard. His extremities go completely numb, and right as Gianna leans in to kiss him, an absolute, immediate, total blackout, and his friend Ryan completely lost consciousness at that exact same moment in another room. The situation builds into this impossible contradiction between a digital alibi and physical reality. During the blackout hours, the narrator's phone actually successfully sent perfectly coherent, normal-sounding text messages to friends and family saying they safely crashed at a buddy's place. Yet, he actually woke up at noon, lying face down in the bushes over an hour away from the venue. He was stripped of his wallet and keys, wearing completely different clothes that belonged to a stranger, and his shoes were soaking wet with the laces entirely removed. So, the crucial point is how the evidence completely defies any standard criminal motive. The police dismiss them as just being way too drunk. But consider the facts. Their credit cards were stolen but remained entirely unused. Their phones were found discarded perfectly together in a nearby parking lot. And when they retraced their steps back to that beach house later, an old man answered the door. Marcella had never lived there. It was just another front. Both men experienced the exact same inexplicable relocation and weird wardrobe change simultaneously. When you really look at the facts, the unused credit cards, the coherent texts sent by someone else, the missing shoelaces, you are forced to ask, if the motive wasn't robbery, what on earth was the true unrealized purpose of that night? The narrator is left with this sickening, lingering discomfort, knowing he survived a highly organized operation without ever actually discovering what the operators wanted. And that brings us to the core lesson of this explainer. From unexplainably open closet doors to phantom beach houses, danger so often wraps itself in the illusion of safety. When completely mundane situations suddenly turn into life or death survival scenarios, how prepared are you to trust your gut? It's a lot to think about. Keep analyzing your surroundings, stay focused, and seriously, never take your situational awareness for granted. Thanks for learning with us today.